So kind and wind. So why do we say kind, but why do we say wind? This is all to do with the etymology of the words. As some of you know, or as many of you know, I guess, in English we have a lot of influence on our language from different places. English is a mix of Romance languages, so French has a strong influence from Latin, from Greek, and also from Germanic languages, from Old Norse, from Old High German. There are many, many influences, and very often differences in pronunciation come from the fact that the words come from different places. So if we take, for example, the word kind, kind comes from the word gekind, which was the Old English word. This is from Old English. As far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, this is a native English word. And it comes from the Old English word gekind, which means kind, but it also means nature as well. Kind and nature were very connected in our history. And so as you can see here, gekind has the letter Y in it in Old English. But the word wind, this comes from Proto-Germanic, and this comes from the word windas as the pronunciation. And in the Proto-Germanic language, this letter I, as it was written at that time, this was always written as an I. It was always pronounced, sorry, as an I sound. And because of this difference from the Y changing to an I, and just the I staying the same, this is where we have the difference in the pronunciation between the two words. It's also worth highlighting here that this word wind, this can also be pronounced as wind as well. It can also be pronounced as wind. If you pronounce it as wind, however, this is like namotovate in Ukrainian. And when it's like this, this comes again from Middle English, and this comes from the old word winden from Middle English. And so again, here you will see that we have another Y in here from Old English. And so this is where we have kind, wind, and so this is where this sound comes from the fact we have the Y in Old English, Middle English, but I from Proto-Germanic for the word wind. And obviously, you know, as from a practical level, you do not need to know all of these etymologies and histories of words, but this is the reason why we often have a lot of differences in pronunciation, is just simply because of these sort of slight these sort of differences in etymology. This is where a lot of these pronunciation differences come from. A lot of the time, as I'm sure you know, we just need to remember. Like, we just have to remember that how we pronounce certain words, how we say them. It's much easier in Ukrainian because, of course, in Ukrainian is almost 100% phonetic as a language. So you have a letter, you say it, ifsa. But in English, it's not like this. Not many of our words are pronounced as we write them. And so we just have to remember how we have these different pronunciations.